Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And Shalom to your brothers that are laboring and pushing this word out in truth, in sincerity, and with charity. I am the brother Abraham from the camp here in GMS Chicago, coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying. This is a video from the Kim Iverson show. Alright, it was a couple days ago. It's called Trump Doesn't Want You to Hear This. Okay, and it's about the new Epstein files that have dropped and released a bunch of emails, images, videos, alright, exposing some of the works in the dark that these people in power have done, which are the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. Okay, and shameful spewing has been spewed on his glory, right? Let's go ahead and bring that out first. And Habakkuk 2 and 16. Alright, it says, Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned into thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Okay, so now Esau is being exposed thanks to the truth. Alright, thanks to the prophets that the Lord sent to expose this devil. Okay, so now that he's being exposed, okay, he's being shamed, and all that glory that he once had, all right, is a shame unto him now, because everything was all a lie. All right, so going to this video. All right, the video discusses the release of 3 million documents and over 2,000 videos and 180,000 images related to the Epstein scandal by the Department of Justice. The host, Kim, highlights some of the information is damning against former President Trump, which he is the president, so much so that the DOJ reportedly removed certain pages after their initial release. She notes that the DOJ's link to these files usually required age verification. Right, so she questions the DOJ's claim that the remaining 3 million documents are duplicates and insists on their release, pointing out that the DOJ is stating they have released everything while others disagree, which obviously they have not, right? If you think they released everything, come on now. I'm surprised they even released this much stuff, and accusations against Nero. All right, let's go to that part here. A couple minutes in. Put the volume up.
So what we have is what we have. But let me just show you the documents that they deleted, because we have them. Now, be forewarned, I'm going to read some of these to you, and they are not good. This is not good. Some of the things that are the accusations in here. One accusation reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. And the response, so these are complaints, and then in the next column is response, and then criminal history is on the right-hand side. Now, they've redacted all the criminal history. I'm not sure who's the criminal history? Who are they talking about? The criminal history of the perpetrator or the victim? Unclear. The response to that was spoke with caller who identified lead was sent to Washington office to conduct interview. Okay, but what happened with that? We don't know. Here's another one. At age 16, while modeling, Caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, Caller reported that she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured Caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old girl named Redacted. Caller named other individuals involved, big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complaint reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 1995 and 1996. Complainant reported Ghislaine Maxwell as the madam and broker for sex parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Complainant reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security that if she ever talked about what went on there or who she saw, she would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other cunts. Complainant claims to have video of high-profile sex parties, dealings with cartels, and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. That's a name I haven't heard in these Epstein files before. Maybe you have, but I haven't heard Robin Leach named. Here's another one. Sorry, these are very graphic and terrible, but this is what the DOJ released and then deleted. Complainant reported his ex-girlfriends, Redacted, were victims of Epstein's and one was murdered. While working as a limousine driver, complainant recalled picking up Donald Trump in 1995 to take him to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. During that ride, complainant recalled some of the things Trump spoke about on his cell phone were very concerning and described being a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him due to some of the things he was saying. Complainant noted Trump repeatedly stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone. One complainant's ex-girlfriend, Redacted, told complainant Trump raped her, as did Epstein. Caller is talking about crimes committed against. So here's another one. They said also, by the way, voicemail left, no response. Caller is talking about crimes committed against her. She claims to be a prisoner. She references Lisa Marie Presley, the British royal family, President Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. Now that.
All right, so that's just a few of the details from these files, and like I said, there's for sure many other things that haven't been released and that we don't even know about. Okay, but let's get a few scriptures before we move on. Okay, let's get Luke 12:2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. So in due time, everything will be revealed, will be uncovered. Okay, and especially the works that the wicked do in the dark. Okay, because they think that because they do them in the dark, that nobody is seeing them, or that nobody knows their wicked acts. All right, but this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. It is the tip of the iceberg. All right, it's probably nothing compared to the things that we don't know about, and it's enraging. Okay, because they continue to do these things. All right, and there's no justice being brought forth at the moment, right? But as the scriptures say, the Lord will not at all acquit the wicked. So he's going to be found guilty for all of his wicked deeds, crimes. All right. Everything that he's done is going to be accounted for. All right. The Lord knows everything. All right. Let's get Ecclesiastes 12:14. For God shall bring every work into judgment, and every secret thing whether it be good or whether it be evil. And the scriptures say that the judgment must begin at the house of God. And if the righteous shall scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the wicked, all right, how much more them, right? So we're barely gonna make it, and you think these wicked people that do nothing but wickedness are gonna make it? No, they're not. All right, the Lord's gonna bring all your works of wickedness into judgment. Okay, let's get Ephesians 5 and 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them, right? Well, that's what we're doing now, reproving them, exposing them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. And yeah, this is shameful to speak on these things, right? This is some wicked, evil, cruel things that are known, and there's many more that are unknown. Like I said, the tip of the iceberg. All right, it says, but all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whosoever doth make manifest is light. So they're being exposed by the light. Okay, let's listen to a little bit more.
Oh, it would sound like a conspiracy theory. If somebody called up, there's like a sex trafficking thing going on. It involves the British royal family and Lisa Marie Presley and President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. People would be like, wow, you are off your rocker. Fast forward now, we got all the, there's Prince Andrew. Now, we got all these photos and whatnot. And it's kind of like all these things that people were claiming are starting to look a little bit more verifiable. I'll read you a couple more. Complainant followed up after a call with New York PD officer regarding her previous tip, reporting that she was forced to perform sex acts when she was 13 years old and pregnant in 1984. Complainant also reported there were high-profile individuals involved in her sex trafficking and the murder and disposal of her newborn daughter. Complainant reported Donald Trump participated regularly in paying money to force her to perform sex acts with him and alleged Trump was present when her uncle murdered her newborn child. Here's another one. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off.
Damn.
He measured the children's vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children. And the guests were elder men and included Elon Musk, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump were there.
Oh, this is the fucking president of the U.S., man. And this type of stuff is coming out about him. And he's still the sitting president. Nothing's gonna happen. Wow.
Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old. When Donald Trump raped me, Ghislaine Maxwell was also present. All right, here's another one. In 2004 to 2005, Sir Ivan Wiltzig hosted a party where Jeffrey Epstein, Sammy Sosa, and Donald Trump were in attendance. Patti LaBelle's PR agent stood at the door. At the party, caller met an individual who was approximately 18 to 23 years of age who was brought from Oklahoma for a modeling job but then sold to a man in France. Several women were being auctioned, and a woman possibly known as Colette LNU was the madam. A couple of years later, caller saw Colette at the Cheetah Club in New York, and she told one of Santos' friends that Jamie Foxx was interested in spending a night with her and that he could pay her a lot of money. These just don't sound made up. They just don't really sound made up.
All right. Let's get Sirach 23:19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. Right? So the Lord sees it all. His eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So in due time, or the Lord will judge you according to all of your works, known and unknown, that are in the light, that are in the dark, from your whole history of existence, and the list is infinite. So your judgment is going to be so, there's no words to describe the judgment that you will receive for the things that you've done. All right. Obadiah 1:18 being the final one. Okay. But just know that you will pay for all of your wickedness, man. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Until the next time, Shalom.